I served for 9 years. I retired on 31st March 1983. 1983. I was not financially, I was not sound, I should say. My son was he had just passed out this intermediate examination. My daughter was in the 3rd class. My missus was just operated. She was suffering from this uterus cancer. And Swami himself personally took interest and saw that she was operated in Whitefield Swami's hospital. And he got one doctor from Bangalore. Swami took so much of interest. And slowly she was recovering. It was at that time government retired me from my service. And I was passing through a very big, difficult stage. One day I was standing as usual with others, having to have darshan of Bhagawan. Swami started moving from person to person. And when he came to me, he told me in Kannada, Putparti Bartiya? Are you coming to Putparti? I said, Swami, that's your command. And thus, Swami brought me to Putparti on 1st June 1983, and he made me the principal of the higher secondary school, Prasanthi Nilayam. And since then, I have been staying in Prasanthi Nilayam. And I retired in 1983, but I got my pension in 1994. But Swami was there to give me protection. Even after my retirement from the school, Swami was there to give me pension. Till I was there to get my pension from the government, it was Swami who was there to feed my family by giving pension. And it's only when I got the news that I was there to get pension from the government, I reported this matter to Swami. Swami stopped giving from his side. Swami said, I will retire you.
Oh, in Vrindavan itself?
In Vrindavan. I will retire you. And this was how Swami was there to give me a new job, where he put me for 9 years.
So when you compare yourself with the 9 years in the college, with another 9 years in the school.
Yes.
How do you feel about both these 9 years? Which is the most fulfilling one? Or is it difficult to compare?
No, in Vrindavan, I was a little bit carefree because I was only a lecturer. But I was on my own, I was there to take work in the village. It is true that Swami made me the secretary of that cooperative society. But I was working because Swami was in the habit of coming regularly to the stores. At least 8 to 10 times, minimum 8 to 10 times a year he was there to come to the stores. I think I should not say it habit, but that's how Swami was there, showering his love upon us. But here when I came, I was having very heavy responsibility. Because on the day when I joined, I was sitting on the veranda and Swami came near me and I stood up. Swami held my arm like this and he was saying to other members who were sitting on the veranda, I have brought the best principal to the higher secondary school. And he was there to introduce me. The pressure that I was carrying on my head because of that statement, for 9 years I struggled like anything to afford that word of Swami. I don't know whether I was there to come up to his expectation, but I struggled like anything.
How did you feel on the first day when you entered the school?
You see, I was moving. Interview was taking place. But Mr. Sathya was the chairman of the higher secondary school. He said, the students are there, old students. We were taking interview only to the 8th class. To the 11th class. So other class students had already come. And so Mr. Sathya, our chairman, said, you engage the students. So I made them sit in the corridor. Around about 180 students were there. I was to speak on that day on Swami Vivekananda. I narrated his earlier days. Then I was there to talk about his talk in Parliament. And in the meanwhile, I got the directions from Swami, speak every day in the assembly. So every day I was there to narrate certain instances of the devotees of Swami, some highlighting the information about Ramkrishna Paramahamsa, about Swami Vivekananda, about Gandhiji. All these things I was there to narrate. Almost every day I was there to speak in the assembly.
How was your first year in the college? You were there right at the inception, almost in the formative years of the school. And what was Swami's guiding instruction from the day one?
It was on 1st June 1983 that Swami brought to Prasanthi Nilayam to work as the principal of the higher secondary school. I worked in that school for 9 full years. And during this long period, I had the rarest opportunity sitting at the lotus feet, taking so many lessons on the functioning of the school. And 2 lessons, they are still fresh in my memory. The first one was, what is an educational institution? A building with bricks and mortar is no educational institution. But every student with flesh and blood is an educational institution. The second lesson, what is the goal of education? To promote the all-round development of each and every student and make him or her physically strong, emotionally stable, intellectually sharp, and spiritually advanced. For all these 9 years that I was there working as the principal, these were the guiding stones for me. Often I used to remind the students as well as my colleagues, these are the things that Swami expects from us and how best we have to bring each one into action.
So please tell us how you are able to try and inculcate these values into students.
It was a Guru Purnima period. I still remember it was 21st July 1983. 1 week early, Swami directed us. He said, thousands of people would be coming to have darshan of Swami and to hear his discourse. At the same time, they would be coming here to see how his students behave. And he told us sternly, see that the students on that day behave in the most exemplary manner. We took all precautions. And luckily, by his grace, on that day, thousands of people did come. The people were there to watch not only Swami, not only they were there to hear Swami's discourse, at the same time they were coolly watching here and there the movements of our own students, higher secondary school students. And I must say, Swami was happy with our behavior. But then we got the information, make every day Guru Purnima day. That means every day the boys must be kept in that particular fashion. Not only in the school, not only in the hostel, but even in the mandir. After the Guru Purnima, unfortunately, there was a peculiar type of viral fever. Nearly 35 of our students, they suffered from this disease. Each student was given a bucket because continuously was vomiting non-stop. When it was reported to Swami, Swami said, the students have no resistance power. Take care of their health. Swami will not analyze the points. He will simply give a clue. So that made us to think, and ultimately we decided to start jogging. That's how jogging started in the higher secondary school. Even to this day, it is there. After Suprabhatam every day in the morning, we used to bring the students to the ground. They were made to take one big round around the ground, and then slowly we started adding breathing exercises. We added slowly yogasanas. Then we added Suryapasana mantram. It starts like this. Agnimile purohitam yajnasya devam ritvijam hotaram ratnadhatamam rugvedatmane surya narayana swamine namaha. 4 stanzas are there. Then Om Ram Ujjannadya Mitra Maha Mitraya Namaha Om Reem Aroham Uttaram Divam Ravaye Namaha. 12 are there. So every day they were there to chant. Afterwards, they were there to do Surya Namaskar. Minimum they had to do 3 Surya Namaskar. These were the activities. At the time of the doing Surya Namaskar, the boys were made to stand on the steps of Sri Sathya Sai Hillview Stadium. They were there to face the east. Around 6:30 in the morning, when they were chanting and when they were almost the point of doing these Surya Namaskar, at the time Lord Sun was there to peep in the eastern horizon and was there caressing the faces of the students with his tender rays. It was the most memorable days for us. It was a joy for us to see the connection between the devotion of the students and Lord's reaction, Lord Sun's reaction. Then slowly we added games. We made games compulsory. Either the boys had to play cricket, football, basketball or volleyball. And Swami was there to give whatever the things that we were there to ask. Right from 1983, it was our request to the institute students to come and play with us a friendly basketball match, because our students had developed very well in that basketball. One Mr. Kishan Lal, he was the physical instructor. He had trained the students very well. And almost for a period of 9 long years, it was the privilege of the students to show their upper hand in the game. Not only in the game, but also in the technique of the game. And for your kind information, one day Swami came to see the match. And Swami said, I want to see the match between the higher secondary school students and the institute students. So, Shamyan and everything was prepared. After the bhajan, Swami came to the ground. Swami gave the signal, no, start the game. And by our prayers and by his grace, our students did extremely well. In fact, they were not only there to show their upper hand, they were there to show their upper hand even in the technique of the game. Swami was very happy. It was till the end of the match. And Swami was there to give Padamaskaram to the students. And he patted on each stone's back. That was the joy that Swami was there to express on that day. It was June, almost end in 1983. Mr. Ved Narayan came to my room. He was my student in Vrindavan College. So I made him sit. I asked, what is the message from the Mandir? He said, today in the morning, Swami called me for interview and asked, what's your name? I said, Ved Narayan, live up to the expectation of your name. Go and teach Vedic mantram to the students of the higher secondary school.
Oh, so that's why he was there.
Yes. I said, Shubhasya Shighram, you start immediately. And thus he started Vedic mantram to the students. We were there to teach this mantram not only to selected boys, to the whole school we were there to teach. 209 students were there. Individually, we were there to take interest because Swami's interest was like that. And after 2.5 months, Mr. Vednarayan was there to teach the following mantrams. one Ganapati Prarthana, Shikshavali, Shanti Patha, then Purusha Suktam, Narana Suktam, Mantra Pushpam. Almost it came to around about 20 minutes. Then we all together went to the mandir. We prayed Swami. Swami, the boys are ready with some mantrams. Please give us chance to chant in your divine presence. Swami said, 10th September is Ganesha festival day. On that day, come with the students and make them chant in the mandir. It is a great joy for us. We were there sitting in the portico. Swami came out and said, take the students inside the mandir. I was slowly taking the students. Suddenly Swami said, no, let them sit outside in the portico itself. Let others also hear. And they chanted till the end for almost for 20 minutes, all those mantras. And Swami was very happy. And he expressed his happiness. He came to the teacher and said, the boys are chanting very well. One day, it was Sunday, I think, holiday, the students had come for darshan to the mandir. On that day, 3 ministers had come from Himachal Pradesh. They belonged to BJP party. And Swami talked to them for some time. Suddenly, Swami moved to one student and said, hey boy, chant mantram. Boy chanted Purusha Suktam. Tachayora vrunimahi gatum yajnaya. In that way he started. So systematically he started. His intonations were perfect. And his voice was so pleasing. Swami made him to chant for 5 minutes. Then he said, stop. Then he turned towards the ministers and he asked them, do you know who is this boy? They said, Swami, we don't know this boy. But one minister said, but one thing is certain, the way that he was there to chant these mantrams, so with perfect intonation, with such musical voice, he must be a Brahmin boy. Swami smiled and asked that boy, hey, what's your name? The boy said, Sayyid Kabir. See, it came as a shock to them, but they had to swallow that point. They never expected that such things are taking place in Bhagawan's institution. There was a lesson from this. To Bhagavan, Vedas not the scriptures meant only for the Hindus. These Vedas, they are for humanity. Just as the Quran is not only for the Muslims, but also to the whole humanity. In the same way, the Bible is not only for the Christians, but for the whole humanity. What a great lesson that Swami was there to teach on that day. Were you teaching only selected boys? I told, entire school was there to chant like this. Not a single student was left out. Because the teachers were there to move, and so now and then we were there to hold examinations.
Examinations?
Yes.
On Vedic Mahim, sir?
Only chanting.
Chanting.
They must chant, and marks were given. Mr. Ved Narayan and Mr. Bhimesha Sharma, both of them, they used to go from class to class, and they were there to take the examination. With the result, no student was left out. And this was the mission of Swami. Swami's education is not for a few. It is for the last boy. It was in 1986. Bhagavan was there to give discourses on 2 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. 2nd chapter and the 12th chapter. Bhagavan had completed giving discourses. He gave 17 discourses on the Bhakti Yoga, 12th chapter. Then Bhagavan moved to the 2nd chapter. Every day in the evening in the mandir, the discourses were taking place. What we did was, to please Bhagavan, we chanted in a systematic way, with musical tunes, trained the students in chanting the 12th chapter. Before Bhagavan was there to complete the 2nd chapter, we were ready. One day we came to Swami, Swami, this is what you have done. please give us chance. Swami was very happy. He said, bring the very next day in the morning. So Swami wanted to hear. In the morning, the boys were brought. Entire school was there to chant the 12th chapter. The whole chapter was chanted before Bhagawan. Bhagawan was very happy and he expressed his happiness and used to go from person to person. Top people were there on the veranda and at that time. He used to go and ask, hey, how did my boys sing? Nicely. What nicely? Very, very, very nicely. In that way, Swami he was overjoyed. That was the joy that Swami was there to get by the devotion of the students.
For Swami, it was always my boys.
Yes. Yes. I'll come to that point. For that, my boys, I will come to that point. And we also brought into action stotram chanting. Especially at the time of the Guru Purnima, then Gokulashtami, Ganesh Chaturthi, then New Year's Day, Shivratri time, we were there to come with the songs. And we were there to chant these stotrams in the immediate presence of Bhagavan. It was Gokulashtami day. Swami had already given permission to chant Gopika Geetam. Mr. Shailesh was there to give his own wonderful tune, excellent tune he was there to give. Entire school was there to chant. The audience was happy, but not Swami. Swami coolly came to us and said, why did you chant this Shoka Geetam on this most auspicious day? What a lesson. We were unaware of this.
You didn't really think of the meaning of what of the song.
Yes. Because Gopika, Swami loved Gopikas and their Geetam. So we trained the students. And we chanted in the very presence of Bhagavan. Bhagavan heard it, but this was the point. Unfortunately, it didn't strike us at that time. We felt very sorry. Christmas carol singing. One Mr. Drucker, he was a scientist. He hailed from America. He had stayed in Prasanthi Nilayam for some time. One day he came to the school and said, I'll teach Christmas carols to the students. Will you give me permission? I said, you are welcome. So now and then he used to come and was there to train the students. Christmas Day was a little bit far off. We prayed, Swami, we are ready with the Christmas carols. Will you please give us chance? Swami said, yes. On 24th in the evening, foreigners will be singing. On 25th in the morning, that is Christmas Day, you sing. On that 25th morning, we were sitting in the portico. Swami came out. Swami was staying in the mandir at that time. And Swami said, you start. The boys started. 20 hymns he was there to teach. It almost went to half an hour. And the way that Swami was enjoying, Swami enjoys. Whenever Swami goes on tossing, it's a sign that he was enjoying. That's my feeling. And Swami was continuously tossing. And tender voices, so sweet voice was coming out. And systematically, no apaswara in between. Systematically they were there to chant for almost for half an hour. 20 hymns they were there to chant. So after this program, Swami coolly went to give his darshan. There was one lady sitting in the front line. And it was she who was there to train the foreigners. On the previous day in the evening, she was there to take the lead and giving directions like this. Swami directly went to her and asked, how did my boys sing? She said, beautifully. What beautifully? Very, very, very beautifully our boys, they sang. This was the joy that Swami was there to express. Not only she was happy to hear it, and she was there to smile, she was in great laughter, And Swami was also laughing. It was a great joy for us to enjoy that scene. Bhagawan was there to give discourses. Now and then. What we used to do was, we used to make the students to come with the notebooks. They have to take down the notes. And these notes were checked by the teachers during this teacher come wards period. Every week, one period was reserved only for this work. There was a period known as teachers come wards period. 17 to 18 students used to be there under the care of one teacher. And on that day, all the students, they had to come with their notebooks. And the teacher was there to hurriedly to give a glance, and he was there to give his signature. And not only that, on the very next day of giving the discourse by Bhagawan, one of the students was selected to give the summary of the discourse in the assembly. And thus it became the recapitulation time for us. We were there to recapitulate whatever Swami was there to give the information on the previous day in his discourse. Then I got information from some of the parents. Sir, our boy, he was there to write the notes when Bhagavan was there to give discourse. He was there to bring to our house. And you know what we did? We were there to keep it in the puja room. They were there worshipping those notebooks.